Let's move on to our first guest on the show this morning. Prashant Paroda, Portfolio Manager, Emerging Markets at Allspring Global Investments, is with us. Prashant, great to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for joining in. You know, it's quite astounding that maybe the quote-unquote good news is trickling in now on the trade front, and for now at least on the US legal front as well. Markets have just been marching higher. What do you make of this very, very smart pullback? It's been a great summer so far, whether it's equities in Europe or in the US itself.
Yeah, I think, obviously April was a very tough market environment, especially for the US market here. But as soon as, it became clear that President Trump wants to use this to be able to do deals with respective countries, I think the market quickly recovered. And now I think with China, hopefully with the rare earths, their production and their supply to US will start. So overall, it seems like market is climbing the wall of worry regarding tariffs. And I think there's definitely more deals that will come through later in the summer as well.
All right. Hi, Prashant. Good morning and good to see you. And as always, I wanted to ask you, have you seen Trump peaking out? You know, the peak Trump in terms of volatility, he'll have to do something more now to fear the markets. A couple of months or so ago when he was, launching a lot of things, saying a lot of things, the markets were reacting. But in the last couple of weeks, actually, the markets have stopped reacting to that. So do you think Trump has peaked out? And then we'll get to your preference on global equities.
I think less so than his impact on the markets is more that the market sees clarity with where the administration wants to go. And, there was this deal with UK, there are deals with India that will hopefully happen. And, China as well. Initially the thought was that there would be some sort of trade embargo, but those worst case stories are out of the picture now. So it seems like the market is kind of waking up to the fact that, the world will move on, and hopefully there'll be more deals in the future as well.
And what's your preference in terms of global equities, developed markets or the emerging markets? The flows that we were looking at, the flows picture that we get with regard to the US markets, it appears the foreigners have been taking out some money after going very much overweight on the US markets in the, in the prior 6 months. What's your take on developed markets, and where do you see this money flowing? Will it go to Europe? Will emerging markets get a chunk of it? And in that case, India as well gets some part of the flows.
Yes, I think definitely. And even though, the US market has recovered, there's still a huge delta between what emerging market returns have been this year versus what the US market has. Some of those flows will also go to Europe. I think what's happening in US is, if you take out sort of, the Mag 7 names, the 493, the S&P 493, the earnings expectations have been pretty muted, and their earnings are not compounding so fast. So if you take out sort of the Mag 7 out of the picture, then you see that earnings compounding in the rest of the world is pretty good. And if dollar continues to stay a little bit weak, people will look abroad to park some of that money.
So when you say people will look abroad, what does that abroad entail? If I'm just trying to understand, because you manage portfolios at emerging markets, what emerging markets are appealing to you right now, and where does India stand in that pecking order?
No, India, I think always has, a dominant top 2 or top 3 positions as well. I think with there was some concern in the first quarter with valuations being a little bit high, and earnings expectations were not sort of matching some of the consensus estimates. We'll see how things evolve. I think with India, the market leadership has changed a lot. Last year, it was kind of buy at any price names, which were sort of the high growth names. And today, the market leadership has kind of evolved to the banks and financial sector and some of the telecom names as well. So I think the market is leadership is changing within India. There is, some of the small caps are also
Right.
recovering.
So let's ease it out for all our viewers here. If you had 100 rupees to be deployed into emerging markets, how much would you deploy where? And of the chunk that you're deploying in India, how would the market sectoral deployment be?
Yeah. So I mean, roughly, I think if you look, you would still look about 20+% to be deployed in India, and within that, I think the financial sector, which is will take about 30% of that chunk itself. So a lot of these financials, as you can see, last 3 to 4 years, they haven't had a good kind of performance vis-a-vis the Nifty. So we see some of these sort of catch-up trades sort of continuing within that.
Okay. All right, Prashant. Good speaking with you this morning. Thanks very much. We'll leave it on that note. Good getting that
Thank you.
perspective. You have a good day.